Would you guys be upset if I just suddenly turned my podcast into, I don't know, some fucking hippie, let's all do yoga, discover our inner children? Would you be upset if I turned the podcast into that? Well, don't worry, because I ain't gonna fucking do that. It is Friday something or other. I don't know what date it is. I never know what the date is. It's, well, let's just say it's a week since my last podcast. So whatever it was last week, it's, 7 days later. So, you do the math on that one. So much to talk about. I mean, everybody, or I don't know, I guess the Alex Jones thing is kind of old news at this point, right? They deplatformed him and basically made him stronger, for those out there that were, celebrating that, finally Alex Jones is is being deplatformed. If you haven't heard, basically the same day that these social media sites decided to ban him or whatever from their well, it's not even really a ban, but whatever it is that they chose to do, the same day his show went up to 4th in popularity as an Apple app. So you basically just made the guy stronger while also turning him into a martyr and maybe lending, some credibility to some of the crazy shit that he says, right? I mean, people that follow him and, think that he is a reliable news source, these are already people that are very impressionable. They're prone to being, they're prone to being tricked. I don't want to call them dumb or anything like that. We're all susceptible to our own shit, right? But, people that listen to Alex Jones, that take him serious and think that he's got like his finger on the pulse of America, people that follow him, some of them actually think that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax, that it was a, what do they call it? A false flag, that it didn't happen. They're convinced that, there's some pizza joint in New York where, they're, I don't know, having sex with kids, which, maybe, I don't know. What else? He thinks that, well, I don't know. I don't want to, there are some things where I'm like, I don't know. Like the 9/11 thing, I don't know if he still talks about it. I know that a long time ago, he was very much on the side of, that it was bullshit. I tend to sort of agree to an extent. I mean, I don't think that they were flying fucking, robotic plane, or not robotic, but, like remote control plane. I don't, maybe they were, I don't know. But, I'm not believing it to the crazy extent that he is, but I do feel like, well, that could have been prevented, and perhaps, I don't know, there's some fucking shit that doesn't add up on that, but, that's neither here nor there, in regards to what I'm talking about. But, he has been screaming for years that that there was some sort of fucking establishment, witch hunt going on that wanted to get rid of him. And what did they do? They fucking got rid of him and basically proved him correct. So now his followers will most likely, believe even strongly, or even more strong, into his fucking, looniness. And, like I said, if you haven't heard, his show InfoWars went up to, went up the fucking charts to the number 4 most popular fucking app on Apple. So, congratulations, dipshits that are out there fucking celebrating and acting like, deplatforming this guy was a good thing. Yes, he says some fucking horrific shit. Yes, he might have incited some sort of violence or whatever. I mean, that's questionable, but he should have been dealt with via the judicial system. Letting, social media heads, tech fucking company billionaires decide who gets a platform and who doesn't, or basically, whose speech matters more than others. That's a dumb fucking move. That just opens the door to them deciding that, because the terms of service on fucking or terms of use, I don't know what the fucking terminology is, but the TOS on a lot of these fucking social media sites, on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and other sites, they're very open to interpretation. It's basically, if they decide that what you have to say doesn't go along with, say, their narrative or what you should be saying, they could very easily shut you down and call what you're saying hate speech or speech that is causing that's divisive or whatever. Basically what you dipshits did was you just opened the door towards tech billionaires deciding what's free speech and what's not. So, way to go. But anyway, actually what I wanted to fucking talk about is I was watching this video on YouTube about this fucking couple, right? And it's, I guess they had some special on like CBS or some fucking shit. I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of TV. I watch fucking Netflix a lot or whatever, but apparently there's this couple that have decided that I guess they have twins. I don't know if they're twin girls, twin boys, don't know. The special is called, I think, Raising Babies. And the way that's spelled is THEYBIES. Basically, they're trying to raise them gender free. And they're saying, we'll let them pick their gender when they're old enough to decide. And, it's the same fucking stupid argument that people have been trying to make for the past, I don't know how many fucking years. They are absolutely convinced that the rest of the world is obsessed with gender. When in reality, the only people that seem to be obsessed with gender are them. People that get on this like, fucking, I don't know, gender is a construct, and and there's misogyny. I mean, these things fucking exist, but I gotta tell you, as just a normal dude who likes women, I don't really spend any amount of time thinking about, oppressing women. I spend more time punching myself in the balls than I do thinking about ways to oppress women. I don't fucking, I don't think of that shit. I mean, my mom was a fucking monster to me as a kid, but she did raise me right. She did raise me to treat everybody, basically the fucking same. And, and I mean, I'm a parent, I'm a parent too. I have a boy and a girl. And I've never, I don't know, like, I think that they have imagined that there are still people around that are like, I mean, I know that there probably are some, but not as many as they're imagining. But, they envision that there's some like, mother or father out there that if their son or, if their son is like, hey, I want a Barbie doll, and, that they're going to be like, no, absolutely fucking not. You're a boy, you play with fucking soldiers or some shit. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that there's a handful of fucking, Neanderthalic fucking dudes out there that are still fucking, like that. But I would say that most people nowadays are pretty much like, well, I guess if that's what you fucking want, then that's what you want. I'm not, like if my son asked me if he could have some girl shit, I mean, what I'm going to be like, no, you can't fucking have that because I have some sort of preconceived notion about what you're supposed to, like I don't look at the fucking world that way. Yes, on the inside, I would be a little concerned. As anybody that's, just a normal fucking human being would be. And it's not because, I've got some issue if he turns out to be gay or whatever. I don't care about that shit. What I'm more concerned about, if that were the case, is that he, because the LGBTQ whatever community is still very much an oppressed group. There's still a huge threat of violence and shit against them. So my concern is naturally, because I don't want that kind of shit to happen. But is it like, I failed as a father because my son didn't end up liking, I'm not worried about any of that shit. If he, he's not giving any indication that he is gay, but even if he was, I wouldn't give a fuck. It's just, the only thing I'd really care about is like, well, is he going to be fucking safe? Is he going to be fucking bullied or whatever if that were the case? That's my only fucking concern. And I think that that's pretty much most people, most parents, that's their concern. It isn't, some fucking, Neanderthalic fucking vision of what men or what boys are supposed to do and what girls are supposed to do and all this fucking focus on gender and shit. But like this fucking special, I mean, it's just, you have to fucking watch it. I believe it's called Raising Thebes, but it might be something else. Just look up the fucking word, or look up Thebes, Theybis. I was watching this shit and I was like, you know what, like the dad is like this very fucking effeminate dude that if he wasn't going fucking bald, I could imagine he would probably be, or I imagine he's probably a fucking vegan, and he'd have like a fucking man bun, and would probably blow dudes on the fucking down low. And his wife is like this manly, sort of butch, I have the impression that basically this is a gay dude and a lesbian chick that have hooked up and had kids and decided, you know what, we're going to fucking confuse the shit out of them because we're convinced that the entire fucking world views the world, or, views things the same way that we do. It's, I mean, if you want a good fucking laugh, then watch it. I know that deep down these aren't bad people. These are probably very, very nice fucking people, but they're so they're so focused on gender that they think that because they're so focused, it's sort of, what do they call it? The what the fuck is it? When you keep saying something's gonna fucking happen and then it ends up fucking happening or whatever. Damn it, I can't think of the fucking the phrase, but they're very much tainted by their own perspective, that they actually think everybody else is as focused on gender as they are. And the same thing goes with feminists, right? The ultra fucking feminists. I'm not talking about, the ones that are just like, yeah, women should get equal shit. I mean, cause I'm right there with you. Women shouldn't have to fucking walk down the fucking road and, and have people fucking whistling at them or whatever. But when it gets to this fucking like craziness where you're convinced that that the world is as focused on gender as you are, the reality is most people are not even fucking thinking about any of that shit. And I know there's going to be someone, well, that's the fucking problem because nobody's really thinking about it. And that's the reason why. No, the reason the shit is the way that it is because that's just the way it fucking is. Like, for an example, right? I'm seeing a lot of commercials nowadays where, they'll have like, they don't do it for the men, which is fucking, which is a little weird if you are one of those types of people that's going to be like, well, how come, when they show this, they never show any women doing this or whatever. But, whatever. I'm seeing a lot of commercials where it'll be like, a bunch of women in bathing suits, right? And, they're talking about like, oh, I feel beautiful or whatever. And then, they're starting to sprinkle in a lot of overweight chicks, right? And you know what they're going for. They're saying like, oh, just because you don't fit the stereotypical ideal, you're awesome. And I'm not in disagreement with that, but how can I say this without sounding like a fucking misogynist fucking dick? I kind of feel like when people do these types of things, when they sort of celebrate being fat, or being out of shape or whatever, it's kind of like, instead of let me focus on why I'm a fat fuck, it's let me change your perspective on things, or let me make it okay for me to be a lazy fucking fat fuck that eats Doritos and fucking finishes whole pizzas by myself. That's the way I view it. I don't look at it as like, oh, fat women are not attractive. I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at it like you're basically trying to convince the world that it's okay that you have decided to, die early, and that I should somehow fucking appreciate that. If that's your goal in life, fine. Okay. You don't want to go to the fucking gym. You don't want to go for a walk. You don't want to change your fucking eating habits. That is 100% on you. But don't try and convince me that the reason that I'm not attracted to women like that is because of some fucking gender construct. It's not. I'm just not attracted to fat fucking lazy fucking people. That's all it is. And it has nothing to do with the way I was brought up. Yeah, maybe in earlier times, because, they love to talk about how back in the fucking 1800s, overseas or whatever, fat people or fat women were like, considered the most beautiful. Well, yeah, of course. But you know why? It isn't because it was like, wow, I love, how fucking soft and squishy and how I lose my fucking keys in your fat rolls. It wasn't because of that. It was because if you were fucking overweight, it meant that you were of a higher status, which means you had money and you had the ability to fucking eat. It had nothing to do with the visual, like, oh, women, compare, you just take this big fat lady and compare it to this skinny lady, like, I don't like the skinny lady. No, it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that if she was, if she had weight on her, it meant that she ate well during a time when people didn't eat well. We live in a time where we have too much access to a lot of shitty fucking food. And therefore, it's not because I've grown up watching, some fucking bony chick in a fucking bikini. That's not the reason that I like women that are in, fairly decent fucking shape. It's because I don't like fat fucks. And you're not going to convince me, via commercials or your fucking, your fucking parades or protests. You're not going to convince me to change what I find attractive. And it isn't going to work on most men. It'll work on dudes like this, this raising baby guys, because the dude, I'm willing to bet willing to fucking bet, and I know this is gonna sound all macho man, chauvinistic, whatever, but I'm willing to bet that if you were to fucking test his testosterone levels, I'm guessing they are very fucking low. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but you have to understand that there are types of guys that are like that, and then there's types of guys that are like me, and then there's types of guys that are, that sort of epitomize the misogynistic, chauvinistic, ideal, or not really ideal, because it's not ideal for a guy to be like that. But, I mean, yeah, I guess I'm misogynistic to a degree. I can be chauvinistic. I don't look at it, but the thing is it's like there's a limit to it, right? Like with my daughter, I taught her the same things that I taught my son. I taught, well, actually, she's fucking better at a lot of the things, she picked up on throwing a baseball and football a lot fucking quicker than he did. She's actually to the point now where she's considering, cause she's entering high school, but she can't do it this year. But, in the coming year, she wants to join the baseball team. She doesn't want to be on the fucking softball team, which is where all the girls are at. She wants to play fucking baseball, and she wants to fucking pitch. And that, and I'm fucking jazzed about it. I'm fucking stoked. I taught her how to, fucking change the oil on a car and change the brakes and do a tune-up. There is no, I know that you listen to me fucking saying that I don't find fat chicks, attractive. I know you hear that and you think, oh, this is, he's like a fucking caveman, but I'm not. It's just, I don't find fat chicks fucking attractive. But at the same time, I'm not one of these people that's like, well, that's going to treat my daughter like she can't do certain things because she's not a boy or whatever. And the same thing goes with my son. I've never tried to force any sort of gender specific things on them. I let them make their fucking choices. And the thing is, I don't know. I mean, isn't it just called being like a fucking responsible parent? I mean, you raise your kids so that they respect everyone and they don't, that they're not fucking assholes. I think that's pretty much, the gist of being a fucking parent, right? I mean, if you are one of the, there's a few types of parents, at least in this country. I'm sure there are in others as well, that you should really be concerned about. They're the ones that, that are fucking racist and they teach their kids to be racist. They fill their heads up with this fucking horse shit about, black and brown people or whatever. Or maybe it's, the other way, if they're black and they're telling, that all white people are the fucking worst or whatever, those are the parents that you should probably be concerned with. You should also be concerned with the sort of parents that, are either fucking involved in illegal fucking activities or they're bringing a lot of fucking horrific shit around their kid. Those are the ones you should be fucking, you should be, if you're going to be focused on other people and be in other people's fucking business, those are the ones that you should probably try and fucking intervene and change. But, regular fucking people that understand the whole point of raising or having a kid and raising them is to raise them to be fucking good people. We're fine. We don't need this fucking over analyzing of fucking gender and shit because, at the end of the fucking day, it's really just a bunch of fucking horse shit, and on this fucking, this show or whatever, like they have their so-called expert, on parenting. You know what? Here's the thing. And I mean, I'm not sure, but I'm almost certain that their so-called fucking expert doesn't have kids. All right. And here's the thing. If you don't have kids, If you're not a fucking parent, I don't care how much time you spent in school studying, child psychology or parenting or social fucking behaviors or any of that shit. I don't care how much time you've spent. I don't care if you've got, fucking triple and quadruple PhDs and shit. If you are not a parent, the only thing that you know is the clinical side of it. You don't know anything else. You don't have a right to tell people what's the best way to fucking be a parent when you haven't even gone through it yourself. And I'm willing to bet that this so-called expert on, child psychology in regards to gender, I'm willing to bet that she doesn't have a child, or she doesn't have a kid. I can just listening to her for like the 30 fucking seconds that I did, I could already tell this lady does not have kids. And it's funny, you always hear the people, a lot of these fucking like child psychologists, the ones that are trying to tell you how you should raise your kids. Most of them don't have children. And yet they're telling you, that would be like, I don't know. That would be like me. I don't know. What is it that I can't fucking do? I don't know how to build a fucking house, right? So that would be like me telling fucking architects the best way to build a fucking house. I've read all the fucking books. I know how structure and all that shit works. But you know what? I'm not an actual architect, so therefore I'm a fucking expert. Well, I guess in that realm, I guess you could, I don't know, that fucking analogy is not a good one, but you get my fucking point. You're a so-called expert on something that you have never fucking done. You can't be a parenting expert if you're not a fucking parent. You can know a lot of shit about parenting. You can know, based on the fucking, the data and, and stats of, what's the best way and maybe what's the worst way or whatever. But even though that information, you still don't know what it's like to be a fucking parent. And you can apply this sort of, view on things to lots of stuff. Like, I don't know, if you're not African American, I'm not, but if you're not African American, you don't have a right to tell African Americans, how they feel about living in a country, or you don't get to tell them, that racism doesn't exist or whatever. You don't get to tell them how to feel about shit. If you're not African American, even if you are African American, you technically shouldn't be telling anybody, it doesn't even have to be African American. You could be white, you could be Asian, you could be whatever. You don't have a right to be telling, to tell anyone how they should feel about any fucking situation. How they feel is how they fucking feel. If you're not a parent, you really shouldn't be fucking advising people on the best way to be a fucking parent. I'm not going to go and tell a fucking, a lion fucking trainer what's the best way to train a lion to not eat somebody. If my only fucking experience is, well, I once saw a fucking lion at the zoo, it just, I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous. And I highly advise that you watch this fucking special. Especially if you have a fucking sense of humor, because it is fucking funny as fuck, just how crazy these people are. And I'm like 99.999% convinced that it is basically a gay dude and a lesbian woman, that have somehow hooked up and had kids and have decided that instead of, being fucking normal, they've decided that they're going to fucking screw their kids up early. I don't know. It's fucking insane. Just fucking watch it. It's called Raising Thabies. Thabies. Again, the fucking spelling to that is They, like they over there are a bunch of fucking cunts. Theybies. I don't know. What else do I want to fucking talk about? I watched a fucking movie, right? Um, I don't know if I've said this before in other podcasts, but I am a huge fan of fucking like horror films, right? I love scary fucking movies. Even as a kid, I fucking loved them. I mean, they scared the shit out of me, but I fucking loved them. Like my mom used to take me to the fucking to the movies over there, and we'd watch like Friday the 13th, or well, I don't think we ever watched any of like the Nightmare on Elm Street, but she took me, she fucking took me to see these fucking films, you know. And I don't know, I've always been a huge fucking fan, to keep fucking beating a dead horse over here. So of course I'm always on the lookout for the next really scary fucking movie. And I don't know. I was doing, I was on, I don't know if it was on fucking YouTube. Yeah, it's probably on YouTube. And I saw this video. It's like, oh, the top 10 fucking videos on Netflix that are, too scary to finish, or some fucking horse shit, right? And there was this one that I've heard about it before, but I'd forgotten about it. And they're like, this movie called fucking Veronica, right? And like if you look up fucking reviews or whatever, or people's fucking perspective of this movie Veronica, a lot of you'll hear a lot of like, oh, it was so fucking scary, I couldn't even fucking watch the whole thing, I had to turn it off fucking midway. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so it's this, if it's that, if people are this fucking scared, this has got to be a fucking really good one, right? I mean, I'm sure you can tell by my fucking tone that obviously that it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to tell you what the fucking movie's about. I don't want to tell you any of the fucking spoilers. But what I will tell you is that the fucking hype behind this fucking movie about it being fucking, scary, like so scary that you can't fucking finish it, that is a bunch of fucking horse shit. I would watch this movie by myself, lights out, middle of the fucking night, sitting on, in a fucking, in a house that is, been called haunted. That's how fucking not scary this fucking movie is. It is ridiculous. And it judging by everybody, was like, this was so fucking, I couldn't finish it. It leads me to believe that either fucking, everybody's trying to prank anybody who hasn't seen this fucking movie, or there are a lot of fucking just little bitches out there. Because I have seen, movies that are fucking way scarier than this. I mean, there's nothing even scary about this movie. It really, all it is just because I guess, I mean, it's in Spanish, right? So it's if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna be fucking reading the entire time. It's they have subtitles on it. The entire movie is in Spanish, okay? But I don't know. You gotta fucking. I mean, if you're interested, if you're curious, watch it. If not, then whatever. Then I don't even know why you even give a shit, But it's just like I cannot believe that there are people. I mean, like, what have we turned into as a fucking species over here, where this kind of shit is considered acceptable fucking behavior from adults? I mean, I think my daughter watched like a little bit of it, and she got fucking bored and walked out. Went to her room and did her own fucking thing. Like, that's just how fucking not scary this fucking movie is. And I cannot believe that we exist in a time where being a little fucking bitch is considered acceptable. Like this, this is what happens when you fucking get rid of bullies, right? I don't think bullying obviously fucking sucks. Okay. Obviously, I wouldn't want my kids to be bullied. But there is a degree of fucking reality that a bully brings to the fucking table, right? It forces you to decide what sort of person you're gonna be. Are you gonna be the one that fucking stands up and, eventually has had enough of this bully shit and punches him in the fucking mouth? Or are you going to, fucking go home and make a YouTube fucking video and, and garner fucking sympathy from everybody? I don't know, like bullies are kind of like, I don't know. They're like the fucking lions in the jungle. Although, are there lions in the jungle? Because every time I see a fucking nature show, they're usually out there on the fucking savannah. Okay, they're like fucking tigers, I guess, right? If you got rid of all the fucking tigers, then suddenly there would be this fucking huge influx of, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it is that tigers eat on a normal fucking basis, but there would be a huge influx of whatever that fucking animal is. And, the whole fucking balance of that ecosystem would be thrown out of whack, right? This is why, even though I couldn't really be a hunter, while at the same time, I can't really... Like, I can't join that side of, oh, you should not fucking kill, or you should not hunt, and it's horrific, because it's kind of fucking necessary, right? Like here in, not just here in California, which is where I currently live, but, in other places, right? There's an overabundance of fucking deer, right? And for those of you that are just like, oh, fucking deer, so cute, so whatever. But, you tell that to the people that have fucking totaled their cars because some dipshit fucking deer decided to, instead of getting out of the fucking way, decided to just stand still on a fucking freeway, or, or to the loved ones of people that have, lost somebody because of some fucking deer out on the fucking freeway. There's an overabundance of them. They are a nuisance. They can get in, if you live in fucking deer country or whatever, they'll get it. If you have a fucking garden, they'll come in, they'll fucking eat everything. They'll shit everywhere. So I'm 100% on board with, every now and then, they tell people go out there and kill as many as you fucking can because we need to thin them out because they are becoming a fucking problem. Right? A lot of the times that is the case with hunters. Now, of course, you have the people that are just strictly about trophies and shit, and I'm not going to get behind those. Although, if you do a little bit of research, especially with the elephants, right? You always hear about, oh, the poachers of the elephants, and then you'll see somebody posing because they killed the fucking elephant. And because we watch movies like Dumbo and shit, we have this weird fucking affection for elephants, and because they have this crazy fucking memory, and they're kind of fucking cute, I guess. They stink, but the thing is what they never talk about, right, is how there are places in Africa where there's like a village of, where people are fucking living, and elephants have just decided that they're going to take over that area. And they'll come in and they'll fucking kill people and do a lot of horrific shit that, it wasn't because somebody fucking made them ride a tricycle or fucking, had them fucking stand up on two legs or whatever it is that you see in the fucking zoo, or not zoo, the fucking circus. These are wild fucking elephants that have decided that they're just going to come in and take over this area. And, and they kill people, right? They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the fact that even the trophy hunters that come in and kill the elephants, a lot of them come in, they kill, they take the fucking picture, and then the meat from the elephant is used to feed the fucking village. of people that are fucking starving. They don't tell you about shit like that. All they do is they show the guy with the fucking gun. You know, he's got, you know, he's taking a fucking knee and shit, and he's got the elephant behind him or whatever. You know, they show you these pictures and they make you think, oh, you know, this is so fucking horrific, and look at this fucking maniac. But they don't tell you about, well, it's possible that guy just killed a fucking elephant that had killed a bunch of fucking people when it decided to take over their fucking village. They don't tell you about that shit. Now, what does this have to do with bullies? I don't fucking know. You know, I think the point I was making is that the bully is, you know, he sort of, you know, fucking thins the herd, right? He sort of, you know, lets everybody know who's the fucking weak one. Now, a lot of the times, the bully is probably the weakest of them all. You know, he or she usually just has, you know, some sort of size advantage, whether they're fat or tall or whatever, you know. But, you know, a lot of the times, yes, they are very fucking weak. And a lot of the times what's happening is they're experiencing some sort of fucking abuse away from school. And then they're, you know, you know, utilizing cognitive dissonance and coming to school and fucking unleashing what they wish they could do to the person that's abusing them on others. You know, and that's fucking horrific too. But if you get rid of all the fucking bullies, what you're left with are people that can't fucking finish a movie that isn't even fucking scary because I don't know. I don't even understand. Like, I was waiting for those fucking parts that people are like, oh, you know, when this fucking happens, it just, oh, it's so fucking frightening. And, you know, and I fucking had to sleep with the lights on for like a week. I read that. When you get rid of the fucking bullies and you try and fucking convince everybody that, you know, gender is this huge fucking problem, This is the result. You get people that fucking write reviews about a movie that's not fucking scary, and they can't fucking watch it the whole way through because they're, you know, I don't know. I think their parents hugged them too fucking much. You know, I think that's the problem, right? Is everybody's sort of like on, you know, like at these fucking extremes, right? Either you weren't hugged enough, or you were hugged too fucking much. And you were fucking sheltered, and, you know, and you had your helicopter fucking mom or dad or both, you know, constantly hovering and you know, and they act as sort of like the barrier between you and, you know, and experiencing any sort of fucking disappointment. And, you know, and they're the reason that you got fucking participation trophies, even though you fucking rode the bench the entire fucking time. You know, what they've done is they've raised a fucking a generation of little fucking bitches, and it needs to stop, ladies and gentlemen. It needs to fucking stop. Kind of like this podcast. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I don't think I have anything else I wanted to fucking talk about. I did fucking tattoo myself. That was fucking interesting. You know, cause I am, I don't know, apparently I've decided that I'm going to build a budding fucking tattoo career at some point. You know what it is just, I have lots of different fucking interests. And, you know, and instead of always like, oh, you know, maybe I'm too old for that, or, you know, or how much does that cost, or, you know, or whatever fucking excuse people, use to convince themselves to not follow, you know, the shit that they want to fucking do. You know, I'm just not like that. If I fucking, you know, if I take an interest in something, then I fucking go all in with it. And, you know, I've always liked fucking tattoos. I mean, you know, I'm pretty much covered in them. You know, I'm I would say I'm a decent fucking artist. So, it just only seemed like the natural fucking progression of, I've gone from drawing to, instead of drawing on fucking paper, I've decided I'm now going to try and draw on skin, and I think I still got some shading and shit to do and, little touch ups here and there, but I think I did a pretty fucking decent job, as far as, you know, my first fucking attempt on human skin. I think I did pretty fucking well. And, and obviously it's still a work in progress. So, maybe when I'm done with the shading and I finally have completed this shit, maybe my perspective will change. But so far, so good. But it was definitely fucking interesting because, for those of you out there that have tattoos, that they don't exactly tickle. Right. Some, depending on the area, they'll hurt more in some areas than others. The leg is really, it's not that, at least, well, I did it on my thigh, and I don't really like fucking leg tattoos, and I did it on my thigh only because I know that if I fuck it up, I can cover it up, nobody will ever fucking see it, but, because tattoos don't normally, they don't feel too good, I mean, depending on your pain tolerance or whatever, the tattoos may or may not be that big of a fucking deal. I mean, I've got my entire left arm fucking completely sleeved up. I've got my right arm that's almost at that point. I've got tattoos on my chest and on my back and on my ribs. And now on my fucking thighs. So, my pain tolerance is pretty fucking high, but, end of the fucking day, you are basically, stabbing yourself with, with fucking a needle over and over and over and over and over again at a, very fucking high speed. And, it doesn't feel too good. And, tattooing myself, it was weird. It's very much a whole mind fuck, right? Because, when you're getting a tattoo, you want to be fucking still, right? Because obviously you don't want the artist to fucking screw up or for the lines to be all fucking, fucked up or whatever, right? So it's important that you're fucking still. And usually when that's all you have to think about, that's easy to do. But when you have to be still while also being the one that is stabbing the needles into your fucking skin, it's not very easy because your brain is like, hey, you're fucking hurting yourself. Stop fucking doing that. But then it's like, well, but I want to fucking get this, I want to do this because, how else am I going to fucking learn? You can't just go start fucking tattooing random fucking people if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like the whole reason that I'm doing it to myself is so I can get better, right? And I can also get, sort of gauge like, all right, am I heavy handed? Do I, just, I don't know. I'm trying to assess my fucking tattoo skills, but I swear it is a fucking challenge doing it to myself. I know after doing it to myself that yes, I can tattoo another person. And I could probably do it a lot better because, it's not me. I don't have to, I mean, there was times where I physically had to like stop the fucking tattoo and like fucking like hold my leg down. Because it kept fucking like wanting to shake and basically it's my brain saying, I need to fucking stop, stop this fucking pain, and I gotta figure out a way to fucking get the thing that's fucking causing the pain to fucking stop, which is weird when the person causing the pain is you. I if anything, I have a new appreciation for people that are cutters, because, at least from what I've read, a lot of the times they describe it as, I don't think I've read too much of people saying they enjoy cutting themselves. A lot of the times it's, they cut themselves in order to sort of bring them back down into reality, or to remind themselves that they are real, or whatever reason they have for it. But I definitely have a newfound respect for people that do that. Obviously, if you are a cutter, you probably should talk to somebody, because it's not healthy to do that. But at the same time, if you can sit there and fucking slice into your own fucking skin over and over and over again, and just be okay with that, then yeah, you definitely got my respect. If that was what you were fucking looking for, which, let's be realistic, you're not. If you're cutting yourself, the last thing on your mind is, does some fucking faceless jackass on a fucking podcast respect me as I know you're not looking at the world that way, but I'm just saying that, hey, I fucking, hats off to you. Do I think you should continue to cut? No. I honestly, I feel like, you should speak to somebody. I know that you will when you're fucking ready. But I don't know. It was a fucking challenge tattooing myself, and the fact that I still have a ways to go is it's a daunting fucking task. I feel like the hard part is kind of over. I got the outline. Shading notoriously doesn't hurt as much because you're using a bigger needle, which seems weird, right? You would think that the bigger the fucking needle group, when I say a bigger needle, I don't mean like it's just one giant fucking needle. Basically, with tattoos, you have needle groups, right? When you're doing an outline, you'll maybe go anywhere from like a 1, which is basically just one fucking needle. You go as high as, I've seen people fucking outline with like a 9 needle group, so it's 9 fucking needles. But they're close together, so it kind of looks like just one fucking needle to the untrained eye, I guess. But with shading, you have larger needle groups. So like I'll be shading most of this tattoo with a 14, which is 14 needles. But I don't, I can't explain to you why the bigger the fucking needle grouping, the less fucking I can't explain it. I have no idea why it hurts less. But what I do know is that it does. And by far the most painful is the one fucking needle. That's the most painful. And the reason, I think, at least in regards to that, is because it is basically like slicing through butter, right? With, if you've got one fucking sharp, hot knife, I guess, I don't know. This is going to probably be another fucked up analogy. My apologies. But, if you have one fucking hot knife, I guess it's easier to slice through the butter, right? But if you have like I don't know, you know what? I'm going to abandon that fucking analogy right here and there. I don't know why the bigger needle groupings hurt less. I just know that they do. So for those of you out there that, don't have a tattoo and are considering it, if you, I know you're probably afraid, which is probably why you haven't done it and why you're fucking sitting around deciding on it. Unless you just have no idea what you want to fucking get. But, the hard part is the outline. That's the hardest fucking part because you're using the smallest needle. So it will be the most painful. But again, it also depends on where you're getting it. You get anything that's like near a joint or on a joint, that's going to hurt probably the most. You get it on a place that's like a lot of fat. It hurts less, I don't know. I don't fucking know why. If you're looking to me for fucking, the the reasons that shit fucking, feels the way. I don't know. I still don't understand how fucking, how electricity happens. Basically, my house is just filled with fucking lightning and shit, and somehow it isn't fucking shocking. I don't even know how it is that I'm talking into this fucking microphone, and what I'm saying is traveling through the fucking wire connected to my mixer, and then is, through fucking magic and fairy dust somehow appearing on my fucking laptop as, sound waves. I don't know how any of this shit fucking works. Is basically where I'm going with all this. I don't know how cell phones work. I mean, I'm sure there's some fucking nerd out there that's like, well, the electro fucking magnetic field, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it is that I can talk into my cell phone, and then what, the fucking words and shit are traveling out in the fucking air, and somehow they're landing into another fucking phone, where on that phone the person hears my voice exactly as it fucking sounds. Like, it's not even just it's not even robotic. It's my fucking voice. How does that fucking work? This is fucking magic. Okay, we are living in in fucking a magical world where fucking tons of fucking pounds of metal can fly through the air and not fucking crash. Or that you can have, as Bill Burr once fucking said, that you can have a fucking swimming pool in a boat out in the fucking water. How does that work? Or that I can talk into a microphone, that's basically just, a bunch of metal and fucking wires and shit. And somehow that is traveling, like, I speak into it, it's traveling to, down the fucking wire, and it's coming out of your fucking speakers. I don't know how any of this shit fucking works. So if you want some sort of detailed explanation of why a fucking bigger tattoo needle hurts, less than a fucking smaller one, I don't know what to fucking tell you. And what I'd really appreciate is you just fucking get off my back about it, because I don't have all the fucking answers. I don't. Anyway, all right, I'm going to fucking end this podcast here. I know I said I was going to about fucking 20 minutes ago. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so, the fucking school year is almost here. Although next week my daughter, school starts for her, which, is a fucking huge bummer. I know that. I remember what that was like. You get off of fucking school, you get out of school on a summer break and you're fucking super excited. And then like midway, you're like, oh, I kind of miss some of the people that I used to fucking hang out with and whatever. And then it's like, a couple of weeks before it fucking starts and you're like, fuck, dude, I got another, 6-7 months of this fucking shit. So I'm totally sympathetic for her. My son, he starts, like in 2 weeks. So he gets like a week more to just sort of fucking do whatever it is that he fucking does, which is really just nothing, But yeah, I guess the point is that I was trying to make before I got lost in my own fucking thoughts is that, very soon the podcast will be more regular and I can go back to my usual 2 or 3 fucking podcasts a week rather than just once, once in a fucking blue moon. So, there's that. There's that to fucking listen, or not listen to, wait for, be fucking inspired by, be excited about. I don't know. Not give a fuck. It's however you fucking feel. But anyway, how did I was getting off. All right, I'm going to fucking end it here. I'm not going to say any more fucking things. I will, I'll talk to you again sometime next week, I assume. But if I don't, definitely the week following. I'll be back to my fucking regular schedule. So be on the fucking, on the alert for that. Anyway, all right, thanks for fucking listening. Don't take any shit. And like always, go fuck yourself. Peace.